in those moments, I would scream out, "Call me She-Hulk!" We are back in action. Episode 5. I'm Austin Schaefer. Is it episode 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm David Schaefer. And we are 99ers.
99ers. We're here. We're ready. What are we talking about today, David?
Today, we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi coming up pretty soon.
There's always something to talk about with him.
That
guy.
So that's going to be next episode. We're going to dive into episode 1, 2 of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So this week is kind of our last week before we are heavily focused on Daddy.
It'll be Daddy recap every week.
Yeah. With more stuff, with extra stuff, but
Father's Day all year round.
Daddy One Kenobi. But no, today I had the idea to talk about Disney's Star Wars. So what that means, in 2012, George Lucas betrayed everyone and gave up everything.
Betrayed everybody.
Because he wanted to spend time with his kids.
What a dingle hopper. No, everybody was cheering when that happened. People wanted him. People wanted him to get rid of it. They were like, yes, finally. Because this was after the prequels, and everybody hated him after the prequels.
Right.
Poor guy.
So yeah, what's cool is in 2012, he gave up the rights to Disney.
He gave up the rights to Disney.
He gave them up.
How much did he get paid?
So, 4.05 bill. With a B.
Gates?
Bill Gates.
4.5 Bill Gates?
4.05 Bill Gates.
05.
No,
that's a lot of money.
He got $4.05 billion.
But how much do you think Disney has made off of it
so
far?
In just 6 years.
At least $6 or $7.
In 6 years, they recouped their investment.
6 years?
It took them 6 years to make that 4.05 bill.
Poor Georgie.
So now they're just milking the cow.
Milk mode. Once you get to that point, you go milk mode, and they're milking it. What do you think about Disney's Star Wars?
So that's a loaded question, and that's what this podcast is going to be about.
Loaded like a potato.
So Disney's done a lot with Star Wars since they got it. Everybody knows the sequels, 7, 8, 9.
Everybody knows them.
I don't want to deep dive into those because that can be its own episode.
We'll do that probably after Obi-Wan season 1 wraps up. We'll do a deep dive into 7, 8, 9, the prosy cons, the frozen cons, the slightly thawed cons. It's fine.
Yep. So, yeah, 7, 8, 9 to me, blue chunks.
Blue chunks. Blue milk.
I really did not like them. I think it's actually funny I say that because when I first saw them in theaters, I cried. Episode 7, I cried.
Actually, you know what? My favorite movie trailer of all time is watching the Force Awakens movie trailer. Out of all the movie trailers I've ever seen, that one slaps the hardest because it was there was such a long wait between Star Wars movies, and when they finally dropped that trailer, it still gives me goosebumps every time. But the trilogy was not that great.
No. And it's funny because episode 7, I left the theater thinking, I feel good. I feel...
What was the part that made you cry?
So, I don't tend to get vulnerable in front of people, so this is a lot for me. I need you to...
Get vulnerable.
Not judge me for what I'm about to say.
Put your phone on silent.
Gosh, unprofessional. It was when Finn gets yoinked by Kylo. That's not what made me sad. But the lightsaber went flying.
Right.
And Kylo looks to the lightsaber, and it starts wiggling. Wiggle. And then the lightsaber goes flying, but it flies right past Kylo's face.
Yeah.
And Rey catches it. And in that moment, the Force had awakened. Not necessarily that moment, but...
No, I think that was a moment. Yeah, that was a great moment. I think that what Disney's trilogy did was it had good moments, but overall the story just did not land. and
Right.
it didn't connect. And we're not going to dive too much into it, but that's kind of the overall theme of like there were a couple powerful moments like that where like when you're in the theater, you literally want to cheer, especially seeing it opening night. But then once you kind of sit back and think more about it, and honestly for me, it was hearing other people's predictions of like what they wanted to see in 7, what they wanted to see in 8, and then 9. But then actually the hindsight of all of it, like once all those 3 movies were done, once people were looking at the overall story that was created, it's like, gosh, it could have been done so much better, and the pieces should have fit together better than they did.
So, wow. I don't know what that voice was.
Still sick. Random, but you guys probably noticed I've cycled through my 4 shirts. We're on episode 5, and we're back to shirt number 1 from episode 1, so you guys can get used to that. I own 4 shirts.
So
anyway,
when Ray caught that lightsaber,
yeah,
I cried.
you're a girl.
Next subject.
No, that was a good moment.
No, what?
That was a peak sequel trilogy.
So
moment.
that actually is a cool parallel. It's literally the same goosebump moment as Cap catching his hammer.
Yeah, except it didn't have, 20 movies of build up, and you've only known Rey as a character for approximately 93 minutes. And yeah,
Right.
that's the thing. It was the same moment, but the difference was the amount of time you've known the character.
Right.
And the struggle they've gone through. Rey's just this who's-he what's-her that shows up catching Anakin's lightsaber.
Right. And
Is it Rey's lightsaber? Or is it Anakin's lightsaber? No, it's Luke's lightsaber. It's Annie Cander's. Whatever.
So like you said, Rey is just a who's-he what's-her. That just triggered my anger.
Get triggered.
Because episode 7 is who is this girl? Rey.
Right.
She's trying to find her identity. Episode 8 is you're nobody. And then episode 9 is like, well, hang on, she might be someone. Like,
right.
the trilogy sucked. If you go movie to movie, I thought those movies were sweet. I left The Last Jedi. I could probably find a tweet. I bet I tweeted something about it. Like, oh my God, I loved it. Rian Johnson, like your daddy.
I remember seeing it. We talked about it in the episode with me and Sean. I went into it blind. I didn't see a single trailer. And that was one of the first movies I actually went back and saw it again in the theater. And I walked out of the theater the second time liking it even more. But that was all prefaced with the idea of, okay, number 9 is going to be insane. Number 9, they've set up number 9 to be so good. Like, there's so many things they can do in number 9. And then number 9 just didn't connect, and it didn't fit all the puzzle pieces together, which then made number 8 suck way more.
Right. Number 9 almost felt like it was just undoing what 8 did.
Yeah. We'll talk about it
Yeah.
more. We'll dive more into that. But that's kind of our overall thoughts of Disney's trilogy. But what do you think about what Disney's doing now, like in this moment, and then also looking forward?
Well, actually, real quick, George Lucas had a 7, 8, 9 laid out.
That's true.
So in 2012, when he sold it, he actually had the plans. Like he had already started writing for the next trilogy. And he was looking at how the prequels took him 10 years to do. And he was looking at, okay, I got another 10 years if I want to do another sequel trilogy.
Right.
And at this point, his wife was pregnant with their daughter. And he's like, yeah, I'd rather spend time with my daughter.
Smart man.
With
With $5 billion in my pocket.
Right. $5 billion, a daughter.
You're going to need some big pants.
Husky. So,
Husky boy. Anyway.
So George Lucas had these plans. They're in the episode 1 through 3 archives. It's a book about like everything that went into the making of the prequels.
Yeah.
And in the book, George Lucas talks about how if he would have done the sequel trilogy, he would have had it be focused around Leia. So he said the prequels were the father, the original trilogy was the son, and then the sequels were going to be the daughter. So that's Anakin's story, Luke's story, and then it was going to be Leia, who actually turns out to be the chosen one. This was his writing.
Whoa.
And it was going to be a time where the Empire had fallen, only like a couple years after Episode 6. And Leia is in a situation where there's no governing body anymore. So she is trying to establish like this new republic. But like the crime world is rising up now that the Empire's gone. Now that there's no one to kind of enforce.
There's a power vacuum.
Right. So, you know, the Hutts are taking over planets and all these crime mob bosses. A lot of stormtroopers are actually taking over planets themselves and starting their own like societies and stuff. Because what do you do with an army?
Right.
Like once the Empire's fallen, yeah, but they had that army.
Yeah,
what does that
army
army
still
do?
Scattered all over the galaxy, and they're still in positions of power, whether they have a emperor to guide them or not.
Right. And Lucas was taking these ideas from the fact that we were in Iraq at this point, and he was kind of looking at our war going on and kind of creating this fantasy world of stormtroopers and what that would look like. Kind of just looking back at the Iraq war, like just bridging fantasy versus what was actually happening in modern day. But so it was going to be about Leia, how she was going to be the chosen one. And I read that Senator Organa was actually going to become the Supreme Chancellor.
Whoa.
And Luke was going to be working on that new Jedi Order.
That would be her like stepdad, basically, or her adoptive father.
Yeah. If I say one more time, just shoot me in the throat.
Shoot you right in the throat.
So I almost did it. So Luke's on this mission to build this Jedi Order, and towards the end of the sequel that Lucas had in his mind, Luke was going to have like thousands of Jedi trained. Like it was going to be just like the prequel, like the Republic, but this new Republic was going to be full of new Jedi.
Okay.
The main villain in the sequel was going to be Darth Maul, which piggybacks off of the Clone Wars animated show.
Right.
So in the Clone Wars animated show, Maul is still alive, and he is kind of in the underworld, doing things behind the scenes while Palpatine's kind of controlling the scenes at this point.
Right.
So Palpatine's taken over. He's got his idea of an empire that he's trying to, Maul is just trying to come back from what happened. And he's working these crime bosses and working the crime world and the underworld. And he is starting to gain more and more influence and more power. And Maul basically takes over the crime world.
Right.
So in the sequels, after the Emperor is gone, an old Darth Maul emerges and takes over with his crime world that he built. And he actually has an apprentice, and there's comics about his apprentice. Her name's Darth Talon.
Right. She's is she a Twi'lek?
Yeah.
She's got the long
Twi'leks.
The long jobbers.
The long jobbers.
They're red. She's red, right?
Yeah. Oh God. I said So Disney came in and was like, yeah, George, that's great that you have this. We're not going to do any of that. So they did their own thing.
Slapped him in the throat.
But if you look at like the Clone Wars, how they built Maul up and that storyline, and then even the Solo movie at the end of it, Darth Maul shows up. You know?
Like and everybody was so confused because nobody's seen Clone Wars and like, how did he come back? His return in Clone Wars is like one of the best stories because he was such a baller character that didn't get his just, I don't know, full arc and like full depth of like, who is this guy? What is he capable of? What's he like? And then Clone Wars gives you so much backstory from him, and you see him kind of rise from the ashes. And like you said, he literally takes over the underworld of crime, and he just starts knocking out all these people who are like mob bosses. And
he even takes over Mandalore.
Yeah, he takes over Mandalore. He wields the Darksaber, which more people know what that is now because of the Mandalorian show. And he just like his whole comeback is like worth exploring. Filoni made the decision. He was the one who made the decision to bring Maul back, and like that was not well received by a lot of people. Because how many times nobody's ever really dead. Everybody's just coming back. But his comeback was like worth it, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it would have been that much sweeter had they done Lucas's sequel trilogy of Darth Maul being in that Palpatine role.
I mean, I don't know how old his race, the Zabraks, the Dothamirian Zabraks, he's from Dothamir. I don't know how old they can get. That's kind of the thing. Like, he's going to be like an 80-year-old man.
But he would fit that Palpatine role where he didn't have to do anything.
Sure.
He would chill and watch Talon do his bidding.
And point his lightning
Talon
fingers.
would be a Darth Vader.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
Rule of two. There can only be two.
Exactly.
We'll dive more into that one day. Dive into the whole Clone Wars rule of two. Power dynamic that the Sith have. That's a really cool topic to discuss. But anywho.
But that's Disney came in, did their own thing. And then in this gap where Lucas made the prequels and then Disney took over and then made their sequels, there were so many books made, so many comics made.
Right.
And Disney came in and was just like, okay, yeah, all those books and comics that have been made since those prequels came out, that's not real. Yeah. Don't read that because that's not legit.
Right. They basically put the hammer down and said, this is canon. This is not canon.
So that's where canon comes from. Right. Disney came in and said, no, this is what's legit.
Yeah.
So they got rid of a lot of cool stuff. Like Luke in this, what's it called? The expanded universe? What's it called?
Yeah.
Legends. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Disney came in and labeled this Legends. And in this Legends comic content stories, Luke is like uber powerful. He's super in touch with the Force. He can do a lot of things that we haven't seen. He actually has a wife.
Sean touched on that, yeah.
Mara Jade. She has a purple lightsaber.
Redhead. She has red hair. You talked about it. You mentioned it. Sean's behind the camera, murmuring sweet whispers. Yeah, you mentioned it's fine. Whatever, dude. You mentioned it. So anyway.
And then stuff with like the Old Republic. When Disney took over, that kind of went untalked about, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Where people want more Old Republic stuff, and Disney kind of
they haven't done it yet. I think they're going to listen eventually.
Maybe.
I think so.
But back to the Solo movie.
Yeah.
I think the reason they kind of stopped going towards that storyline they set up with Kira and the Red Dawn, Solo tanked.
It hit rock bottom.
It did not do well.
Took a deuce.
And Kathleen Kennedy just came out and said, I think last week, that they will not be recasting roles based off of like characters we already know because of how bad Solo did.
Yeah.
They're not going to recast people to play the characters we've come to love. Which, what do you think? Is that smart?
I don't think that's... She kind of basically blamed that as the reason why Solo tanked. I think it was because that was one of the stories that nobody asked for. Like when they... Like, it was, okay, we're going to do 7, 8, and 9. And then after they announced that, they started announcing, like, we're going to do Solo. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And, like, if they would have made a Yoda origin story, like, that would have made all the money. If they were to say, we're going to go back when Yoda was young. Like, that would have been what everybody wanted. Instead, they made a Solo origin story-ish. It wasn't like a full origin story. It was kind of like you pick up midlife when he meets Lando and like he gets the Millennium Falcon. But that wasn't a story that people were like asking for. So I think that's why it bombed. Because honestly, I was not excited to go see that movie, but I saw it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was better than I thought it was going to be. But it was just one of those things where when they announced it, it was like, like there's so many other storylines you could go down. Like so many other characters that would be so much better, more exciting.
Right.
Give me somebody with a lightsaber. Like whether it's a Palpatine origin story, young Palpatine and his master. Who was his master, David?
I need a second.
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
Oh, I've heard it. But I want to see it. I want to see the tragedy of Darth Plagueis. So they came out with Solo. And again, I think overall, looking at like everything Disney's done and everything Disney's going to do, the storylines that nobody asked for, they actually do pretty decent at. Like, nobody asked for Mandalorian. When people said we're making a show about Mandalorian, everybody's like, Boba Fett, because they saw a poster with the guy with the helmet, and they're like, dude, a Boba Fett story. And like, no, it's not Boba Fett. It's a different guy. And everybody's like, what? We don't want some random guy. But now Mandalorian is like a baller show. Same thing with Solo. Like, I was not happy they were going to make it, but then once I saw it, it was better than I thought. So I
didn't like it.
So like looking ahead, everybody wanted 7, 8, 9. Didn't do that great. Everybody wanted the Boba Fett show. Didn't live up to the hype. Nobody asked for an Andor series. Not a single person asked for that. Not a one. There is no one. Not a person.
Right.
But that show might be baller. Like, it might end up being one of the best things that they do, because I don't know, it's whenever they're trying to like bridge a gap, and that's why I'm a little worried about Obi-Wan, and that's what Sean was saying in our episode, where like they might screw that up, and they might really screw things up, because that is a story that fits within 2 other stories, and they have to make a linear bridge between what happened at the end of 3 and what happens in the beginning of 4, where what?
I just smoked that camera.
He smoked me.
I'd like to fact check you guys real quick.
Fact me.
There is no canonical evidence to actually suggest Darth Plagueis is Darth Sidious's master.
There was a book written, though.
Legends.
H me in the T's. All right, we just got FT'd.
By
Actually,
ST.
FC'd. We just got FC'd in the A.
So why don't you explain? Because you just said a lot of letters. And there's no way in HE double that people are going to be able to follow that.
HE Dubskis. We just got fact checked by Sean Terry. He says that Darth Plagueis is not necessarily Palpatine's master. I think he might be, though. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so like nobody asked for Andor, but it might be great.
Let me ask you something. What's more important to you? A Star Wars story well told, like a great story.
Yeah.
Or a great bridge built?
That's a good question, because I thoroughly enjoyed Rogue One. I thought that they bridged that beautifully. Like, there were so many plot holes in between, like what happens in 3 and 4, and I think that Rogue One was done so well. But
Rogue One is literally a bridge that they built.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
They're just like making the story make more sense.
And now what that means, because we understand what that means.
Right.
Rogue One, I should say this, Episode 4, A New Hope, the title scroll comes in and it says, Rebel spies have acquired the plans to the Death Star and found a weakness in it. That's like one of the first lines in the title sequence.
Yeah.
To like set you up for the very first Star Wars movie.
Right.
They took that like one sentence, Rebel spies have acquired plans that tell you the weakness of this weapon.
Right.
They made a movie off of that
They
sentence.
made a whole movie off of one sentence.
So they bridged the gap between the prequels and that to set it up.
So yeah, that was done so well. So I can respect a bridge story. It's just, I feel like there's more pressure to bridge something correctly and to do it well and to make the fans happy. Because Star Wars fans are a group of people. Them peoples is a group.
That's
and
a group.
They will tell you the stuff, and they'll let you know when they don't like the things. So I would say, though, I would rather have good new content. Like Ahsoka. They could take that show so many different avenues. Andor. It's going to be like a spy show. I mean, I guess, okay, do it and make it good. I don't like. I didn't ask for that. I don't care about Andor that much, but nobody does. But yeah, I don't know.
I think it's fun because like the sequels, they suck. We went through that. But I feel like it is cool where like in the episodes, like the big movies, episodes 7, 8, 9, they set up like a story that is kind of choppy.
Yeah.
But that's what's good about Star Wars is like that choppiness sets you up for more content to bridge the chops.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like, are they doing that purposely, or are they just like putting Band-Aids on bullet holes where it's like, shoot, we screwed that up, we gotta go back and fix it?
And that reminds me, Kylo talking to Rey in The Last Jedi, and he says, "Let the past die. Kill it if you have to." And it's like Disney is just like grabbing the past and just like yoinking that udder dry.
Yeah.
They are not letting the past die. They are sucking on the past.
All right, so everybody wanted a Kenobi show. I hope they don't screw that up, because everybody wanted 7, 8, 9, kind of screwed that up. They announced the Acolyte show.
So, the Acolyte.
Let's talk about it.
What do you think? I'll tell you what it's about.
Tell me.
But what setting do you think that is? So, they announced that the Acolyte... Let's see if I can find it here. It is going to be 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Dope.
So 100 years before Episode 1.
So we get I would say middle-aged Yoda, but he's still kind of old at that point.
And it is going to be set up as a mystery thriller.
Okay.
That explores the dark side of the Force. So what do you think the Acolyte could
Will the Riddler be involved? Acolyte. So I'm guessing it'll be some kind of Sith apprentice, but it also could be like a Night Sister type thing. There's a long story arc in Clone Wars that's pretty reoccurring about the Night Sisters, and the Night Sisters reside on Dathomir, which is where Maul was. That's where he was born. And they're basically just like witches. They kind of have like Sith powers, but they're witches. So
yeah, just real quick.
Yeah.
Rundown of the Night Sisters. Dathomir is run by the women. Like the women are in power at Dathomir.
Yeah.
And basically it is head by Mother Talzin. She's the head witch. And basically this is where Maul comes from. This is Maul's home planet. Palpatine needs an apprentice. Mother Talzin gives him Maul. What Mother Talzin does, though, she doesn't just give them their strongest warrior. She also like infuses them with like this dark magic to make them more powerful.
I don't know if she did that with Maul though.
But right, I don't know if she did that with Maul.
I think he was just powerful.
Right, but in the Clone Wars, she does that with his brother.
Right,
Savage, and he's a total savage.
He is Savagi. And he's double bladed up.
So
on Thursday afternoon.
He is double bladed up.
That boy Chonk.
That boy got horns on his head too.
Yeah. And he just kills people.
That boy horned that one girl.
Yeah, he did. I forgot about that. That show's nuts. That's a kid's show. Until Savagi shows up and he starts murking
Savage
people.
just starts killing everyone.
It's pretty brutal.
There's a scene he throws his double-wielded lightsaber and it spins down this long table and it chops off every single head of everybody at the table.
Graphic content.
And then a couple episodes later, he headbutts a Jedi in the chest with his horns and she dies.
just a power move. So yeah, that's Dathomir. So maybe Acolyte has something to do with Dathomir. Or I'd love to see 100 years prior to Phantom Menace, Palpatine's not even existing. What Sith Lords are running around town at that point. Whatever they're doing it in secret because we know our good boy Kiamundi. How do you pronounce it?
Kiadi-Mundi.
Longhead. Mr. Cranial.
What about that droid attack on the Wookiees?
He says, but the Sith haven't been seen in a millennia. Or something like that. So it's like, whatever is going on in this show, the Jedi are going to have no idea about it. So I doubt we even see any Jedi. Or if we do see any Jedi, they're going to get killed. Like, they're not going to be able to see the Sith characters and then report back to the console. They're going to get murked.
Right.
Which I'm sure is going to happen.
Yeah. I think the person in charge of writing the story said that it would be in like the unknown regions of the galaxy.
Sweet.
So it's going to take you away. It's going to take it away from everything we've known so far.
There's been no some of the best story arcs in Clone Wars are like the dark side focused stories. So
Yeah.
I think this will be great. Like, we haven't dove into that. We haven't seen new characters. Like, introduce some new people. That's what was cool about, like, the one cool aspect of the Boba Fett show is this Kersantin.
Yeah,
some new black Wookiee shows up and it's like, I don't want to mess with this guy.
Let
Show
me,
me some new people.
Let me just highlight what you said. The one cool aspect of Boba Fett show.
The other cool aspect, Mandalorian shows up.
The best episodes of Boba Fett is when he's not in it.
Yeah, he wasn't even in it. He was in 0% of that one episode, and that was one of the best ones.
So that's some more Disney content. We had Mando. We had Boba Fett. I really enjoyed Mando a lot.
Yeah.
I think season 1 is total baller. And it clicked. I recently watched Mando. Mm-hmm. Why I love Mando so much?
Why?
Is because he is literally Star Wars Batman.
Yes.
There's a season 2, episode 1. If you've never seen Mando, like, don't even watch season 1. Just listen to me when I say this. Season 2, just the first episode. To this planet where there is these fights going on and people gambling on these fights. And he goes to like one of the head guys there, and he's trying to get info on where he can find more Mandalorians so that they can help him find the Jedi.
That's right.
To find Grogu a home type of thing. But anyway, the guy totally turns on him and wants his armor, and Mando just goes Batman mode.
Yeah.
And he beats everybody in this boxing ring. He's doing things. My favorite scene is when he like kicks Baby Yoda away and then just like punches a bunch of dudes and then turns and like throws a knife through someone. It is literally Batman. Yeah. Like that knife was the Batarang. And then that head guy he's trying to get info out of tries to run away. Mm-hmm. And he catches him in the streets with a grapple from his arm, just like Batman.
Right.
And he ties him to a pole and he hangs him from the pole. And the guy's like, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. And Mando says, I promise you, you will not die by my hand. So then the guy gives up the info on where to go. He says, I heard there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine. So then the next episode, he checks that out. But he goes, okay, I gave you the info. Let me down. And Mando just walks away. And all these like evil, like hyena type things go and kill him, which is totally baller because Mando doesn't kill him. He is an honorable man. He says, you will not die. He's an honorable man.
Hand. He murders that guy.
He doesn't murder him. He says, you won't die by my hand. And then he walks away.
That's kind of how Batman operates too. Like,
right.
I love all the reels and stuff where it's like, Batman's not going to kill you. He doesn't do that. He would not do that. But dang it, he will separate the vertebrae in your spine if you cross the street without looking both ways. The only thing Mando could have done that would have been better is took him to the rooftop in Gotham and strung him out that way. Because that's what Batman does all the time. Rooftop, grabbing you by the neck, putting you over the balcony. Tell me what I need to know.
Right.
And then he drops him and grapples him 10 feet before he hits the floor.
Right.
And then leaves him dangling.
And I just thought of it. Mando is an orphan boy whose parents died in a tragedy.
Shoot.
Batman, that's his whole thing, is his parents are killed in front of him.
You know, if they're gonna copy
the parallel,
if they're gonna parallel any story, you might as well do Batman. That's what I try to do in everyday life.
Mando is Batman, and that is why I bought that right there on the table.
Nope.
Pretty baller.
I'm glad you bought it. I'll take it home.
Those things, what?
It's fine. So, Rian Johnson was given a trilogy.
Oh God, no! Please, God, no.
You know, we said we're going to dive into the trilogy more later, but I will say this. Rian Johnson, he tried some stuff. He tried to be original. He tried to take number 8 into a new and exciting direction. People hate his guts. Star Wars fans want him just removed from all things Star Wars.
So Rian Johnson is a director.
And
he directed episode 8, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Which, did you like that movie?
Like I said, walking out of the theater, I liked it. With the hopes that number 9 was going to connect things and continue the story. On its own, number 8 does not look good. But I think that's because, I'm going to talk about this when we dive into that trilogy. But you watch 7, 8, and 9. And you know that J.J. Abrams did 7. Rian Johnson directed 8, and then J.J. Abrams directed 9. You walk in with that knowledge, and you will walk out with the notion that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson hate each other, and they just want to ruin each other's lives. Whatever J.J. tried to do in 7, Rian completely undid it in 8. tried to do his own thing, and then JJ said, "Screw that! I'm taking this thing back."
For example, 7 is spent with Rey trying to figure out the rest of the map to get to Luke.
Right.
She gets to Luke finally at the end of episode 7.
Right.
Episode 8 starts with Luke taking the lightsaber and just tossing it.
And that's essentially Rian Johnson taking J.J. Abrams' ideas and throwing them off the cliff.
Right. And then episode 9, what happens?
Then, well,
Rey goes back to that island and goes to throw that lightsaber, and Luke,
Soldier Boy, tell him.
Soldier Boy, tell him. No, Luke grabs the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And goes, a Jedi's weapon should be handled with more care. And it's like,
That's-
J.J. Abrams is just middle fingering Rian Johnson. Like, they don't like each other.
Yeah, it appears as though they never got in a room and talked about what they were going to do, which is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Anywho, we'll talk about that in
But
another episode.
Ryan-
Don't even get me started.
I don't like episode 8. I don't think Rian Johnson did a good job.
The fact that they gave him a trilogy was kind of eyebrow raising.
Before episode 8 had even came out, they said, yeah, Rian Johnson, we're going to give you a trilogy.
That's right. And then episode 8, everybody hated. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
But Rian Johnson also did Knives Out. Have you seen that?
No.
That one's really cool. It's like do you know what Clue is?
Yeah.
Like the board game?
Oh, wait. Who's in it? Is Chris Evans in it?
Daniel Craig and Chris Evans.
Yeah,
Daniel
I
Craig.
have seen it.
That's a really good movie. I
That
like
is a good movie.
So it's just like Rian Johnson failed episode 8 for me, but Knives Out was pretty sweet. So
I feel like if he has complete creative control for the 3 movies, I think he can put a good cohesive story together. I think throwing him into episode 8 in between the JJ sandwich, it did not taste like an Oreo.
Right. Whereas J.J. Abrams did a lot of remixing the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Where he just tried to copy it almost.
Yeah, number 7 is basically just number 4 done over.
Right. Rian Johnson tried something new.
He tried something.
He tried to be original. I didn't like it.
He was just trying something.
But if you take that idea of Rian Johnson goes for it,
Yeah.
you give him a whole trilogy, it might be cool.
Let that
what
boy
he
go
does.
for it. I say give it to him. Do it. Rian, do it.
Nike.
Gross. So what else?
So what else?
So they've been really pumping out some content lately.
You hang on, just real quick. I'll edit this. I don't care. You were so excited to get to something with Rian Johnson, and I kept like wanting to just add some content about Rian. I wanted to just add a little content to Rian Johnson, and I could tell you were trying to get somewhere with that. So I finally got done with it, and I like gave it back to you, and you go, "So what else?" Dude, I thought you had something.
I said what I wanted to say.
No, you didn't.
What was I going to say?
You were so rushed to keep talking about Rian Johnson. So when I finally got done, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at my phone and figure out what's next. And you're like, so yeah, what else, dude?
I feel like I said everything I wanted to. I don't know. I'm just high on bath salts right now.
Anyway.
I feel like this one's been a little off the rails from the get.
So there's actually a Lando show coming out.
Is there?
Yeah, with Donald Glover.
Oh.
Which I really don't care about.
Again,
I bet it's about the love interest.
his robot.
I forgot about that. What the?
L5, baby.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that one chick.
They were trying something.
At the end of episode 9, it's like, oh, where are you from? Why don't we find out?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he's got a daughter.
Yeah. See, okay.
Like, I don't care about that, though.
I said we weren't going to dive into the trilogy, but that was one aspect of the trilogy where it's like, you introduce this character who is all over the posters. She's all over the marketing. You've got this strong black female character. Okay, I bet she's going to be a part of the movie in a great way. She wasn't. She was in the very end. There's this awkward conversation between her and Lando that they insinuate, like, Lando might know this girl, and then you find out in the they announced it after the movie was out. It's like, oh yeah, that's Lando's daughter. It's like, what? There was nothing in the movie that would have made me realize that. And all it is just like, don't worry guys, we'll explore this story later in a Disney Plus series. Like, why are you constantly trying to throw something else down the road? You're introducing these characters just so you can play off of it again later.
For the Disney Plus content.
Yeah. These darn Disneys.
That's the one thing. They're like creating stupid gaps so that they can build the bridge. It's like, you don't have to force it.
They're forcing it.
They are forcing.
But they're not using the Force.
But that Force ain't awakening.
Oh my god.
It needs to be awakened, not put to sleep to then wake up.
Before the Empire Strikes Back.
That doesn't make sense.
Don't forget about the Menace of Phantoms. Anyway, yeah.
There's a lot of actually other movies that they've said will be coming.
How many?
I don't know, because they've talked about different time slots of when these movies will come out, and then they've talked about different directors that might be doing the movies.
The spring of 3027.
So they want to do a movie every 2 years, but everything's not confirmed yet. But there was one. The director's name is Patty Jenkins.
Patty.
I, off the top of my head, don't know what she's done.
Oh, didn't she do Wonder Woman?
Yes, that's what it is.
She's the Wonder Woman.
Which is, if Sean Terry ever gets a chance to get on this podcast again, which I don't know if I'll let him, given all the positive feedback.
Sean's great. Go listen to episode 3.
Nah, he did a good job. Yeah, if Sean ever gets on this podcast, he'll go off about how amazing of a movie Wonder Woman was.
He's a big fan.
Nah, he hated that movie. But anyway, Patty Jenkins is doing a Rogue Squadron movie. And this will be after the Empire falls.
Cool.
And she came out. She has like an Air Force background.
Oh.
So she has history with the Air Force. So
sounds like the right person to do that movie then.
Yeah, so she came out and said she literally wants to make the greatest starfighter pilot movie you've ever seen.
Do it, Patty.
So I have high hopes.
Look at me. Do it. Make it the best. Okay.
Get it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Star Wars.
One last little. Okay, so Rupert Friend, who is the actor who plays the Grand Inquisitor, which we've talked about. Grand Inquisitor is going to be in the Obi-Wan show. There have been trailers with him in it. He was asked about his character, and he said he did not watch Rebels at all to prepare for his character.
Which was what?
Rebels was the show that the Grand Inquisitor was created. All the Grand Inquisitor content we have, the whole reason we know that character exists is because he was in Rebels. So if you are the actor who is playing a character who is already established, you think you would watch that footage. What do you think?
Yeah, if you've given a role,
you
should
so.
know the background of it.
Whereas Hayden Christensen did the exact opposite of that, because just like I said in the Obi-Wan preview, in between episode 3 and 4, so much happens with that Obi-Wan character. Like ever since they shot Revenge of the Sith in 2005, there has been 17 years of Obi-Wan content that has come out that has kind of changed the character, changed what we, the fans, know about the character. So same thing with Anakin. There's so much Anakin content that has come out since Hayden Christensen has been Anakin. So Hayden Christensen took the approach of actually watching all that stuff. He said he watched Rebels, he watched Clone Wars, because he wanted to prepare to be the best Anakin / Darth Vader he could possibly be. This homeboy said, screw that noise. I'm going in blind because I want to make it my own. I want it to be me.
Which is funny because he doesn't even look like the guy from Rebels.
Chonk boy.
He's a chonker.
He ain't no long skull.
Rupert. And what kind of a name is Rupert?
Rupert Friend. More like Rupert. Jerk.
Enemy.
Oh, got him. Anywho. You said John Williams is doing the soundtrack, though?
Yeah, so John Williams is creating a new theme for Obi-Wan.
Talk about it.
John Williams has created, when Vader walks in the room, that boom, 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 boom. That's John Williams.
J-Dubs.
What?
Keep going with it.
How does it go?
Hang on. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
J Will.
So J Will has created this personality behind all the characters when they step into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Leia's got hers. The Force has its own. The title sequence.
Right.
Everybody knows the Star Wars song. And if you don't, look up the Samuel Kim version. But anyway.
You just threw shade at J Will without even realizing it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
If you can, look at a different version that J Will did not do. So anyway.
So J Will's coming back and giving Obi-Wan his own theme. So I had this theory, and we talked about this in the other episodes, the Duel of Fate song that plays when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are fighting Darth Maul.
All of our favorite moment in Star Wars.
It's the bum bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum. That
Sing
one.
it. Very good singer.
Sing for me. So anyway, that's the Duel of Fates.
Right.
We talked about what the Duel of Fates means. Right. Anakin's fate is what the duel was.
Right.
Basically, he lost Qui-Gon in that. That father figure, that would have been his mentor. Who knows? He might not have fell to the dark side if Qui-Gon was the one training him.
Say less.
But he didn't get that. He got Obi-Wan. That being said, I think it'd be cool if they piggybacked off of that and just inverted the Duel of Fate song so that bump bump ba-da-dum, bump bump ba-da-dum, and they did the opposite, which is like
Nice.
you'll hit
Editing
it
skills.
in reverse.
Hit the reverse button. You know what? They actually did that with, and it was Jay Will. It was in Phantom of Menace. They took the Emperor's theme, and the Emperor's theme is actually what plays during the. No, I can't sing. We'll add it into the episode right here. And cut. They took the Emperor's theme and they like sped it up, and that is the celebratory music that's playing at the end of Phantom Menace when Palpatine is standing there looking over a young Anakin, and then you got the Gungans holding up the energy ball to the universe.
We will watch your career with great interest.
Yeah, as his theme was playing in the background, just doctored. So they've done that before. I could see them doing it again.
Like, it's cool how they're doing like that much with music that no one will ever even know unless you really deep dive.
Until we make a reel about it and let the world know.
Right. So I think it'd be cool if Obi-Wan's theme, I'm saying it now out loud. Shot. What day is it?
11.
No, it's like the 22nd.
It's Sunday the 22nd.
So this is not, Obi-Wan has not come out yet. It would be so cool if we got a bump bump ba-da-dum, but just reversed and maybe slower. Because it's going to be a time of despair.
Cool beans. All right, let's move on. Sean, I just want to say hi. David, did you see the She-Hulk trailer?
I did. What did you think?
So here's the thing. She-Hulk has a special place in my heart. Why? Okay, so I used to do a job that required a lot of physical labor. It was like we would pick up heavy stuff. And there were times when like we knew what we're about to pick up is going to be heavy and it might be dangerous for us. In those moments, I would scream out, "Call me She-Hulk!" Because that's what would give me strength. So I'm happy that they're finally making a show. But then I saw the trailer, now I'm not happy.
So was it the fact that nobody really asked for like a Fiona origin story from Shrek? Or
See, here's the problem. They've run out of the good characters. That's really what it boils down to. They are into those D-level Marvel characters. Did anybody ever ask for She-Hulk to be a thing?
I think there's a certain group of people that might want it. But this trailer gave me like a weird vibe. Well, it's not going to be like...
People are calling for the anime or the whoever did the CGI. They're calling for their heads.
Yeah, the CGI is bad.
They want them burned at the stake.
It is very bad. I keep seeing like side-by-sides of like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
In like 2005.
Right.
Versus this. This is not good. She looks like a VeggieTale character.
Shoot. That is high production.
Like an asparagus.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, I don't know. And then you've got Hulk in it too, which like obviously they're cousins, right?
Yeah, so her name is Jen Walters. She's an attorney, and she is the Hulk's cousin.
I mean,
I don't know much about this character.
Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe this will be the show to watch.
But it seems like Disney's very family fun and friendly and corny.
I'm having fun.
Like that's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
Where like in DC, in Batman, like Batman beats the crap out of someone. Like at the very end of the movie, Batman is just going ham on that guy when he takes the serum. That's like dark DC.
Right.
Whereas Disney's like, while they're fighting the bad guy, they're like,
Cracking
Oh,
joke.
how many bad guys have you beat? I've got 12 under my belt.
Well, no, you can't say that because that also happened in Lord of the Rings.
But that was cool, the way that worked. That was the same thing. Stop it. Don't do that to Lord of the Rings.
Gimli and Legolas. Dude, we got to do a Lord of the Rings deep dive.
So I know a guy.
I want to go 800
His name is
meters
Josh.
down. Who's Josh?
Josh. Right.
What's his middle name?
If I had to guess, maybe...
Jermarcus.
I was going to say Josh. It's not Josh.
So Josh,
Yeah, he knows things about Lord of the Rings.
we're calling Josh out because he listens to this podcast, and we're saying Josh. No, he doesn't listen. Josh, you should listen to this podcast.
We got to give him a reason to.
Yeah, we'll tell him he's on this episode, whether he knows it or not. This is us calling him out for him to come and join us in studio, but we have to get a third mic first, so maybe if he could bring
And I'd
a
have to clean my bedroom.
mic. Yeah. Yeah, you would.
Anyway, back to Disney. Disney is very corny with their jokes, and in the middle of battle, they're like, oop, gotcha.
Bad guys coming in on your left.
On my left or on my right? Am I right?
Oh, Captain, good joke with the running.
No, I'm the strongest Avenger.
That was a beautiful Thor impersonation.
I don't know if I could do that again.
You can. So,
Anyway,
what about
what
the
I was
porn?
gonna say, this She-Hulk actually seems like a step in a different direction, where it seems like it's for like adults, where she's like, there's like that weird part where she's on like Tinder, and then
What?
she finds a date and she's like carrying him in her room.
What is this?
When I'm watching it, I'm like, what Disney? What is happening?
You know what's funny though? Like Thor: Dark World. Sean made he said that the new Doctor Strange movie was somewhere between Endgame and Thor: Dark World. Thor: Dark World is considered like the worst of the MCU movies, and that's because they like took it too seriously. They were like trying to make it like super, like the stakes were super high and everything was dark and everything was like, oh, like the hero was defeated and there was no like humor. And then Thor 3 comes out and
Ragnarok.
Sean, what's his name? Taki?
Tequila?
No,
Not
the
tequila.
director,
The
Tiki Wakata or
Yeah.
something like that.
He,
It's not that.
I'm
It is
butchering
not
his name. I'm taking his name and slicing it with a knife.
He's actually getting a Star Wars movie too.
Yeah, he is a boss. I love his stuff. He's hilarious. He
Sean,
is
what's
the
his name?
voice.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
I can see his face in my head. He also directed an episode of Mandalorian. He's awesome. Love him. I hope he does more stuff. But he did Thor 3, and it takes a totally different tone. It's like everything is a joke. Everything is not serious. And it was one of the best MCU movies there was, because everything was just a joke.
That the Rock guy. is-
Korg, yeah.
Yeah, he is by far one of my favorite Marvel
He
characters.
voices Korg.
Oh, hello. Or I don't even know how he talks. I'm not even gonna try it, and we're
Terrible
gonna cut that.
You did great on Thor, and you did terrible on Korg. So,
He also voiced the IG-80 something unit. in
Oh.
Orlando.
IG-11. Yep.
IG-11 and Mando
Yeah.
was.
That is going to play into my question for you later, but we'll talk about that later at the end. So, She-Hulk looks questionable, but call me She-Hulk, you know?
Yeah, I just
It's
thought
the
it was
battle
weird.
cry of our generation.
It seemed like a more adult themed,
I don't
where
know.
she's a lawyer and they're like at the bar with their friends.
So the question is, are we going to live stream our reaction to watching that episode, or are we just going to recap the season like we did with Night of Moons?
We'll probably just recap. it.
Yeah, probably. I'll let you watch that one. You can tell me all about it.
They also announced Charlie Cox.
Who?
Charlie Cox. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
I'll give you a hint. He can't see. Stevie Wonder movie.
Nice. Jeez, man.
No. If you haven't seen, there's a show called Daredevil. It was on Netflix. Disney recently bought the rights to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Marvel character, but it was on Netflix. I don't know who owned the rights to it.
Right.
But Disney recently bought it and added it to Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil is an awesome Marvel story.
You've told me that.
It is like a parallel to. He's kind of like a Batman. I would say he's more like Batman than Moon Knight is.
Dang.
Like, actually.
Because Moon Knight's weird.
Yeah. Daredevil is
It's a good show, but it's weird.
He loves his city. He's the vigilante of his city, protecting the streets from the evil
Is he more
doings.
like Green Arrow, or is he more like Batman?
I would say Green Arrow.
Shoot.
Actually, exactly like Green Arrow.
But
It's really cool.
with
So
batons.
he's blind. He was in an accident as a kid, and all his other abilities are abilities are sensed. All his other senses are heightened, which give him abilities.
All of his candles are scented.
Words.
So there's
hard.
going to be a new season of that?
So yeah, they just announced they're going to do another season.
Well, that makes sense because he made a cameo in Spider-Man.
So they bridged that gap by introducing, he was Spider-Man's lawyer for a hot second.
Does he take that brick that he caught in the movie and do something with it in the next season of Daredevil?
Probably.
That's his new
He's
weapon.
good at throwing things.
I bet.
But no, that little universe that they created with that is pretty cool. They've got like Daredevil in it. The Punisher shows up. The Punisher, that show, I gave a 9 out of 10. It is so sweet.
Was he muscular enough for you?
He was.
Oh.
He was.
Dang.
No, what I really loved about the Punisher is in every single episode, he takes a bullet. Whereas like in these superhero shows and movies, you see they're barely touched.
Yeah.
All that for a drop of blood. Thanos.
Nice drop.
But no, they don't take a beating. They always win the day. There's no like sense of danger. You know they're gonna win.
Yeah. Like Mando, he is constantly getting shot precisely where his armor pieces
But
are.
Mando takes a beating too.
He does, but the biggest beating he takes is because he can't handle his own Darksaber. He slices his leg.
No, that Mudhorn messes him up.
That's true.
He's about to die.
That
And then
MH
Grogu,
H's him in the T's.
which is what?
I can't say it on air. He gets healed right in the titties.
Testes. Ooh, my tenders.
H him in the T's, his tenders. Yeah, he gets murked
So
and turked.
anyway, the Punisher.
Murk Turk.
Murk Turk. Which is another plug for my Twitch. Tangent number 4. Let's unravel this.
He is Merc Turk on PlayStation. He is Merc Turk in real life, and he will Turk your mercs. Anyway, keep going.
Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil for another season. This one's going to be Disney led, so it's going to be more
Family friendly.
Disney universe where like Spider-Man exists.
There's
type
gonna be
of stuff.
corn in it.
But yeah, there's 3 seasons of Daredevil. Season 3 of Daredevil is like amazing. Some of my favorite TV I've watched.
I'll have to watch it.
And then there's the Punisher that ties all to that. Punisher is a total boss. He takes a bullet every episode. You always wonder like, oh my gosh, how is he going to get out of this? Like that dude's going to die. And then you watch him defeat. He has hallway scenes.
Nice.
The Punisher has hallway scenes,
I love
except
it,
it's in a bar.
HS.
He's a total boss, but just a quick side note.
Some fun facts that I found. Remember when I said there were rumors? Like I wanted, so you gave some spoilers for Doctor Strange. Here's a little spoiler. You could skip ahead. John Krasinski shows up as Mr. Fantastic. And I was like, they better bring him back, and this better not just be like, well, in this universe, he's Mr. Fantastic, but you'll never see him. They have confirmed that he is going to be Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movie. And then I mentioned that there was a rumor that Bryce Dallas Howard might be Mrs. Fantastic. Well, that is not true, but she is directing the movie. So that opens up them to potentially bring in Emily Blunt to be Mrs. Fantastic, who is married to John Krasinski in real life. And much to the dismay of many Office fans who want Jenna Fisher, Pam, to marry John Krasinski, Jim. But that didn't happen. Sorry, guys.
Maybe in another universe.
Earth 76311. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so I thought that was exciting. He's going to be Mr. Fantastic. Who should they cast as the other characters? Who should Johnny Torch be?
The Human Torch.
Jonathan Torch. Human mode.
I think it would have to be either Michael B. Jordan. No, I'm just kidding.
He's a
dreamboat.
He is a piece of chocolate cake.
Emily, skip like 10 seconds if you're watching this. Michael B. Jordan is
She's not.
is is a fine-looking man.
He's a top
and
10.
I say that with the utmost confidence that...
You know who it should be?
Thank you. Go. Take it.
You know who it should be? Either John Stamos or Zac Efron.
I saw a poster of Zac Efron,
Yeah,
and I
did
thought,
too.
I
That's why
hate
said
that.
Who should the thing be?
We're soaring. Flying.
Flying. Human Torch can fly. My Troy Bolton.
It's crazy how movies connect.
Everything is connected. Who should be the thing?
The Thing?
What's his name?
The Thing. It is his name.
See, I didn't even see the last one because everybody said it was so bad. And it's been so long since I've watched those original Fantastic Four movies.
The Rock.
No, it should be nice.
Yeah, buddy.
Because he's made of rocks. It should be Tobias from Arrested Development.
David Cross.
Or Terry Crews.
I could see Terry Crews. I could also see Tobias. If you haven't seen Arrested Development,
Oh.
dude, I want to take an episode and talk about that show.
I had a reference the other day. I was very proud of it. The
Beans?
I was proud of it. Yeah, that show is dumb good. You want to talk about layers of storylines intersecting and like
jokes.
jokes? That show is genius. And the Russo brothers did a lot of that. And the Russo brothers also did Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, which is like a masterclass in how to connect stories and how to bridge characters together. Wow, who's texting you during the middle of our show? It's like, whatever.
It was Amelia.
Who?
Emily.
Oh. So anyway, yeah, I'm pumped. Fantastic Four. What else we got? I think that's literally it.
Yeah, we have Obi-Wan next week.
You're
One thing I wanted to add about Obi-Wan,
at it.
there's this scene. He is in a prison, and he fights that Zabrak in the trailer.
Yeah.
How do you think he gets to that prison?
He's getting somebody out.
No, he was in an inmate costume. He was in an inmate.
Everything's a
Help
costume.
me. Help me, brother.
Ewan McGregor is wearing a costume.
No, help me. What is inmate outfit? What's the word?
Prison garment.
Yeah, his garment in prison. No, so he is put there.
By who?
That's what I'm asking you. Who do you think?
I don't know.
I think Kersantin maybe.
Oh.
Or I just found this out. In the trailer, there's a quick scene of him on a rooftop and he's shooting at someone.
Right.
That someone is a bounty hunter.
Sure.
That bounty hunter is the one bounty hunter that nobody talks about, is in episode 5. When Vader has all those bounty hunters, you see Boba, Bosk, the IG unit.
Which
it's
one?
the last one.
What's his name? Zuckuss? Or
I don't know the name. It's the droid. And that's the droid in episode 5.
wait, the black droid? The same type as IG-11?
No.
Oh.
It's the one everybody forgets about this guy because he's in the very back. But here's my thing.
I've got a like a Where's Waldo book, but it's Where's Chewbacca, and then all of those bounty hunters are also in that. I forget his name. I know his face though.
I'll have to look at. I don't know his name either. But this bounty hunter is coming after Obi-Wan, and that's the bounty hunter in episode 5.
Dope.
Why would Vader want that bounty hunter if that bounty hunter doesn't have a
He's got a track record for
track
success.
record?
He gets it
I
done.
wonder if that droid captures Obi-Wan.
Maybe.
My other theory is Cal Kestis
Or
gets
he
captured.
Or he purposely gets captured as a civilian to break somebody out.
Cal Kestis.
No.
Probably not.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
gotta
Season
wrap
3
it.
of Rambo. Mando, I mean.
Rambo.
Mando
Season 3 of Mando.
is coming. He's got the Darksaber.
Do you think Grogu will be older?
No.
No.
He doesn't
ages
age very
slowly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Rapid fire question. Who is your favorite droid in Star Wars?
My favorite droid
Favorite droid.
in Star Wars.
Go.
K2SO.
Me too.
From Rogue One.
He's awesome.
He's so funny. That scene.
You were talking about how you cried in episode 7 like a chick?
I didn't
You
say that.
little girl.
You said that to me.
I cried in Rogue One when K2SO sacrifices himself. That scene is emotional.
Yeah, when he's just taking the shots
Dude,
and then he
K2SO is the best.
I said that when we watched Rogue One recently. I said that's my favorite droid.
He's a baller. He's so sarcastic.
Yeah, his jokes, they're so funny.
I love when Jyn Erso shoots that other K2.
Yeah, there's a scene where Jyn turns and shoots a droid.
Right.
The same droid.
Yeah,
type,
yeah.
And it just drops dead. And then K2SO walks around the corner and goes, "Did you know that wasn't me?"
Classic.
It's like perfect.
And then he catches that grenade and just chucks it. Oh, K2. I wish he would have survived.
Me too. But we get more.
He could have been in the Andor series.
He is.
What?
K2 is in it.
Oh, this is before.
Yeah, K2 is in it. They just
high on bath salts. I forgot about that.
They confirm the same voice actor coming back.
The guy who voice acts like
Voice acts. I don't know why that sounds so weird.
Voice acts. He's like the guy who voice acts for everything under the sun. He did the chicken in Moana. He did, what else did he do? Sean, you would know.
You think he knows?
We need a camera on Sean.
Of all the things to pick out, the chicken from Moana.
Yeah, he does everything. Like if there's a random character that
the character doesn't have any lines.
Exactly. He's a genius. I'm going to put in the show notes his IMDb and it'll blow your DB off your head because he does so much stuff. So anyway, cool. K2SO.
Yeah.
That was a great episode.
That was a great
Probably
episode.
our best yet.
It was fun. But yeah, next week we got Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I'm just pumped.
I can't wait. We get 2 episodes.
They better not screw it up or I'm going to rage.
We are going to have a watch party.
I'll bring my watch. What are we doing with all these watches?
We're going to bring a camera and we're going to have some live footage. Not live. We're going to have some footage.
We're going to record live and then post it later. Just like this. All right, cool. So that should wrap it up, fam.
Yeah, next week we got Obi-Wan, so be ready.
I will ask you to comment your favorite droid in Star Wars. If you have not seen Rogue One, watch it because K2 is actually the best one, so any other answer is wrong. But who's your favorite droid in all of Star Wars? If you've never seen Star Wars, why are you listening to this? What's your favorite droid in America? Maybe the one from iRobot with Will Smith. Maybe.
Could be.
Did you hear Will Smith smack Chris Rock? So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Episode 5 in the bag. I'm Austin.
I'm David.
Sean is there too. Peace out.